There was once a Velveteen Rabbit, and in the beginning, he was really splendid. He was stuffed with sawdust and had brownish-gray fur, which was soft and smooth. His ears were lined with pink satin, and he had two bright, shiny eyes. He was very beautiful. But when he was new, he was kept in the nursery, along with all the other toys. And they were always too busy with themselves to notice the Velveteen Rabbit, who was rather lonely. One day, the rabbit was talking to the Skin Horse, who was the oldest toy in the nursery. The Skin Horse was wise and knew all about toys. He explained that toys become real through the love of a child. "Does it hurt?" asked the rabbit. "Well, sometimes," said the Skin Horse. "But when you become real, you can never become unreal again. It's a magical thing." The Velveteen Rabbit was curious and wanted to be real, so he waited patiently for a child to love him. Eventually, the little boy who came to the nursery took a liking to the rabbit. He began to love him very much, and the Velveteen Rabbit began to change. His fur began to get shabby, and he lost his shiny eyes. But he didn't mind, he was becoming real. As time passed, the little boy played with the rabbit every day, and the rabbit became the boy's favorite toy. They spent all their time together, and the rabbit loved the boy with all his heart. Then, one day, the boy became sick, and the doctor said he needed to stay in bed. The boy's toys, including the rabbit, were taken out of the room. The rabbit was sad because he was no longer needed, but then the boy's nurse took him outside to the garden. There, he was thrown into the trash. But then a wonderful thing happened. A fairy appeared, and she told the rabbit that because he had been so loved, he had become real. She transformed him into a real rabbit, with soft, beautiful fur and long ears. He was able to run and hop through the garden, and he was free to live a wonderful life. The rabbit had become real through the love of the little boy, and now he was part of the magical world where real rabbits live. In a lush, enchanted forest, where the leaves whispered secrets and the stars danced in the sky, there lived a peaceful butterfly named Luna. Luna was unlike any other butterfly because her wings held a special kind of magic. They shimmered with 1,000 tiny sparkles that glowed softly at night, just like the stars above. Every time she fluttered, a gentle lullaby played, bringing calm and serenity to all who heard. Each evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon painting the sky with hues of pink and orange, Luna embarked on her nightly journey. Her first stop was the cozy nook of Mossy the Hedgehog, who, after a long day of gathering berries, awaited his bedtime story. Luna hovered over Mossy, spreading her wings wide to cast a soft glow over him as her lullaby of gentle rustles filled the air. Mossy would soon drift away into sweet dreams of fields full of the juiciest berries. Luna's next visit was to the sparkling brook where Gracie the frog and her tadpoles played. As Luna hovered above the water, her shimmering reflection danced across the ripples. Gracie and her little ones adored the twinkling light show, and as Luna's song floated through the evening air, they began to nod off, dreaming of splashes and jumps amidst lily pads. Further into the woods, Wise Old Owl awaited Luna at the top of the ancient oak tree. As Luna landed lightly near Owl, her wings casting the softest light over her friend, a gentle wave of calm spread through the branches. Owl, who had spent the day observing the world below, slowly closed his eyes to Luna's soothing melody, ready to rest and prepare for another day of wisdom and watchfulness. Luna's last stop was the cozy burrow of Peep the Field Mouse. Curled up in his bed of soft straw, Peep looked forward to Luna's nightly visits more than anything. Luna hovered above, unfolding her glowing wings, and as her tranquil lullaby filled his little home, Peep's whiskers twitched in contentment. Soon, he was dreaming of cheese-filled meadows and endless adventures. Once Luna finished her bedtime rounds, she fluttered to the tallest tree, resting her own delicate wings. The gentle nighttime breeze swayed the branches as the forest sighed in happy slumber. Luna's work was peaceful and fulfilling, and knowing that every creature was tucked in and dreaming under her watchful glow, she too would drift into a deep, satisfying sleep. As the sun began to rise, coloring the morning sky with warmth and light, Luna's own rest was replaced with the promise of another magical night to come. And so, under her gentle care, the enchanted forest remained a haven of dreams and comfort, nestled in the embrace of Luna's magical wings. Once upon a time, there was a little red hen who lived in a small house with her 3 friends, a lazy cat, a sleepy dog, and a noisy duck. One day, the little red hen found some grains of wheat and thought to herself, "Who will help me plant these grains of wheat?" She went to the cat, the dog, and the duck, and asked, "Who will help me plant the wheat?" But each one of them refused. "I won't," said the cat. "I'm too tired," said the dog. "Quack, quack, not I," said the duck. So the little red hen said, "Then I will do it myself." And she planted the wheat all by herself. After some time, the wheat grew tall and was ready to be harvested. The little red hen went to her friends again and asked, "Who will help me harvest the wheat?" But once again, each one refused. "I won't," said the cat. "I'm too tired," said the dog. "Quack, quack, not I," said the duck. So the little red hen said, "Then I will do it myself." And she harvested the wheat all by herself. After the wheat was harvested, the little red hen took the grain to the mill to grind it into flour. She went to her friends again and asked, "Who will help me grind the wheat into flour?" But once again, each one refused. "I won't," said the cat. "I'm too tired," said the dog. "Quack, quack, not I," said the duck. So the little red hen said, "Then I will do it myself." And she ground the wheat into flour all by herself. Then she went to her friends again and asked, "Who will help me bake the bread?" But once again, each one refused. "I won't," said the cat. "I'm too tired," said the dog. "Quack, quack, not I," said the duck. So the little red hen said, "Then I will do it myself." And she baked the bread all by herself. Finally, the bread was ready, and it smelled so good. The little red hen went to her friends and asked, "Who will help me eat this delicious bread?" "I will," said the cat. "I will," said the dog. "I will," said the duck. But the little red hen shook her head and said, "No, you will not. You did not help me with any of the work. I will eat this bread all by myself." And she did, happily enjoying the bread that she had made all by herself, after all of her hard work. Once upon a time there were 4 little rabbits, and their names were Flopsy, Mopsy, Cottontail, and Peter. They lived with their mother in a sandbank, underneath the root of a very big fir tree. "Now, my my dears," said old Mrs. Rabbit one morning, "you may go into the fields or down the lane, but don't go into Mr. McGregor's garden. Your father had an accident there, and we can't go in there. Now run along, and don't get into mischief. I am going out." Then old Mrs. Rabbit took a basket and her umbrella, and went through the woods to the baker's. Flopsy, Mopsy, and Cottontail, who were good little bunnies, went down the lane to gather blackberries, but Peter, who was very naughty, ran straight to Mr. McGregor's garden, and squeezed under the gate. First he ate some lettuce and some French beans, and then he ate some radishes, and then, feeling rather sick, he went to look for some parsley. But round the end of the cucumber frame, who should he meet but Mr. McGregor? Mr. McGregor was on his hands and knees, planting out young cabbages, but he jumped up and ran after Peter, waving a rake and shouting, "Stop, thief!" Peter was most dreadfully frightened. He rushed all over the garden, for he had forgotten the way back to the gate. He lost one of his shoes among the cabbages, and the other shoe amongst the potatoes. After losing them, he ran on 4 feet and escaped into a cucumber frame, but it was too late. He was caught. Mr. McGregor was very angry, and Peter had never been so frightened before in his life. After a while, Peter grew tired, and he found a little hole in the fence to squeeze through. He ran out of the garden, and the first thing he did was to put on his shoes again. He scurried back to the sandbank and home as fast as he could. Mrs. Rabbit was sitting quietly in her chair, and when Peter arrived, she asked how he had spent the day. Peter replied, "I've been into Mr. McGregor's garden, but I've had a terrible time. I lost my shoes, and I'm quite tired." Then Mrs. Rabbit gently tucked Peter into bed, and said, "You naughty bunny! You've learned your lesson." And so Peter Rabbit never went back to Mr. McGregor's garden again. Once upon a time, in a soft, fluffy cloud high above the world, there was a little star named Twink. Twink was smaller than all the other stars, but he was brighter and more curious. Every night, Twink would twinkle and shine, looking down at the world below, wondering about all the mysteries it held. One evening, as the sky turned a gentle shade of blue and the moon began to rise, Twink noticed something unusual. Down on Earth, beneath a cozy rooftop, was a small window where a little child sat, looking up at the sky with wonder in their eyes. Twink could see the child yawning, sleepy yet fascinated by the twinkling stars. Twink felt a warm glow rush through him, a sense of happiness knowing that someone far below was watching him. He wanted to help the child drift into a peaceful sleep, so he decided to do something magical. With a gentle sway, Twink began to dance across the nighttime sky. He soared over the moon, trailing stardust in his wake. This created a sparkling, shimmering trail that formed shapes in the sky, like fluffy sheep, graceful swans, and soft downy pillows. The child watched, eyes wide in amazement as the stars seemed to paint pictures just for them. Soon, the child's eyelids grew heavy, mesmerized by the magic and comfort of the light show above. Twink danced quieter now, the shapes becoming softer and the glow turned into a lullaby only the stars could sing. The moon, noticing Twink's enchanting effort, smiled warmly and whispered down to earth, "Sleep, little one, as the night holds you dear, with dreams as soft as clouds and skies crystal clear." With a content sigh, the child snuggled deeper under the covers, drifting into dreamy sleep. The child floated on Twink's stardust trails through wonderful dreamlands, laughing with the soft breeze and the gentle night sounds. From that night forward, whenever the little child felt restless, they knew to look out their window. They would find their friend Twink, and let him whisk them off to dream. And high above, in his fluffy cloud, Twink twinkled with joy, knowing he was helping his little friend by simply being there, a guiding light in the night. Every bedtime was met with this gentle dance, a promise that dreams would come with the whisper of stars and the warmth of night. And so, every night, beneath the starry whispers and the moonlit dreams, the little child slept, safe and sound in the loving glow of Twink's gentle light.